we obviously cannot put you into the universities that are on your list because the places are already taken.
What is your portfolio? What did you do, girl? Tell us.
All limitations, guys, are in our head. The greatest disaster of my life at the time, but it was very, very complicated, obviously.
Hello together, namaste, namaskar, servus, привет, Rocket Abroad channel, Christina Shabun, and look who is here. Actually, you already quite know and probably remember a lot this person, this successful woman from Oxford's Business School. Masha today is again with us. Why? Because, I mean, guys, to be honest, I have to be very thankful that our first ever interview video in this channel actually was skyrocketing in YouTube. And many people were asking me, hey man, but we would like to know more about Masha, about, like, you know, she explained very well in our video, and I will put the link. You can see this video with the interview where Masha explains why Oxford, how to get admitted, how to get scholarship, and much more beyond that. So just look, subscribe, put comments and likes. It really supports me and supports this format, because, you know, without your response, it all doesn't make any sense. So that's why, guys, help me.
It does make sense.
It does make sense. I mean, in terms of the continuing the project, yeah. So that's why it's important to see the response. And yes, many people were asking me, Christina, we want to know the full story of Masha, because it was so inspiring and motivating to hear her success story with Oxford executive diploma. And I was thinking, yeah, why not to invite her and even ask her, because I also, honestly speaking, don't know actually anything about that. How, like, where are you coming from? How did you move abroad? In which country you have been living? Like, what did you do so that you reached this level where you say, okay, I'm admitted to Oxford University? What is your portfolio? What did you do, girl? Tell us.
How much time do we have? I'm not sure I can fit everything
1
in.
week probably. No, but I'm
not
really
sure
curious.
that would be enough still, but
Yes, I mean, what I know for sure
Yeah.
that Masha, which makes me even more proud, also coming from Russia as well as me, and basically I know that she is now part of MBA, so executive diploma, and part of Oxford Said Business School, and we met actually in Oxford, not yet in Oxford, but in MBA ESP dating event in Vienna.
Yes.
A couple of months ago. That's why
that
I
was
don't
the
know.
story.
I don't
That's
know.
where it all started. Yeah.
Yes. And just tell me about you and your path to success, because I don't know anything, and I hope it will be interesting for people. Likes and comments are very much appreciated.
Well, thank you very much for having me at your channel. I mean, obviously, I had such a blast talking about the experience, but not only the Oxford experience, but in general, our feelings that were very mutual. And yeah, well, we are both based in Vienna right now, and so the story kind of continues for us here. I will be only part-time for now in Oxford. So as you've already kindly mentioned, I am coming from Russia. I've been living in Moscow most of my life, and my dream was actually always to study abroad. But I'm coming, so to say, from very modest background, and my family didn't have any money to support my my aspirations
and crazy ideas.
And yeah,
Mama, I love you.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate everything, but I'll take it from here. And essentially, yeah. So I always kind of knew that this is the path that I would like to follow. And my initial plan was to go to get the bachelor's degree right after the school,
like we do in Russia.
I mean abroad. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Abroad.
That's what we don't do in Russia, guys.
Important detail was missed. But my mom thought that I'm kind of crazy, so she said, "Well,
Mama, I love you.
Let's start with the bachelor's in Russia." I mean, at the time it was actually a specialist degree, so the 5 years degree. I was, I think, the last generation that got it in the Plekhanov Russian University of Economics, to which I was
very famous,
admitted.
One of the top universities in Russia.
Yes, I think it's currently top 5 or top 7 in Russia. So yeah, also not a bad option for sure, but I knew this is not enough. But one of the reasons why I actually chose the Plekhanov University, which at the time used to be academy still, that was the reason that I knew that they have an international office, and I knew
so
that
you
the
already knew
school
that, so much in advance.
has exchange program. Yeah, so for
Nice,
me that
nice.
was one of the criteria for sure, and I was very happy, and I knew that. So this is where I could just get maybe a taster of what it's like to be abroad and to study abroad.
Yes.
And I think my mom at the time, she considered that by the time I finish, I will already my dream of moving abroad will be long forgotten, which was not the case.
Maybe she will get married.
Obviously, I don't give up easily, as you can see, and you should not too, especially on your dreams.
Yes, guys.
And so yeah, and when I was I think on the third year, I applied for exchange semester. In our university, the whole process was actually quite competitive. You had to choose 3 universities and hope that in one of them you will be accepted.
But sorry, it was not a compulsory part of your studies.
Oh, definitely not.
So
no,
it was
no.
like your wish, your desire, you
Exactly.
were looking for, and
Yeah.
then it was completed.
Exactly. So it was quite competitive. You had to present your grades, so you had to have good grades and language. And this is where the the story gets interesting. So you had to present the Cambridge.
You mean IELTS or
either IELTS
or TOEFL
or Cambridge certificate of English, and they required the upper intermediate level. And at the time, I was already quite fluent, so I thought, why would I go and do again the upper intermediate level if I can already reach for the stars and do the advanced, you know? And actually, the funny part of the story is that they did not consider this in my application. So when I applied obviously to Vienna University, to I'm not sure, maybe something in Switzerland and something in Italy. I just wanted it to be either in Central Europe or in Southern Europe.
Yeah.
And so there is then the day X comes, and they've put all the lists physically onto the board, and you cannot imagine the chaos that was happening. I was literally. It was the same experience as queuing for the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, you know, like
with the pictures.
I had to fight for my life, to fight.
Work with elbows, that's what you learn in
and
Russia.
You can imagine,
fast.
I mean, I've been looking forward to this moment for 3.5 years, you know, and so this is literally the dream coming true. And then I look at one of the lists for Vienna University and my name is not on the list. I look at the second university, I'm not on the list.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. I'm not on the third list either.
Okay.
And that means that I've missed the whole process. And I was in bits and pieces, you can imagine. So what the hell happened, you know? I was not just, studying with excellent marks. I was also part of the student society. I was really actively participating in the university's life. So nothing made sense, you know? I had this advanced certificate in English, and so thankfully, at the time, my best friend was working also in the international department, just in a different part, but she was able to get me an opportunity to talk to one of the admission officers. And as I found out from this conversation, my advanced diploma was not accepted. So they said, well, it's not an upper intermediate, right? And I was like, well, but advanced is higher. You do know
Actually, that. Advanced is C1, right?
Exactly. And they required B2, and I guess whoever considered those documents did not know that, which is very ashamed.
Oh, shit.
And I said, so what do we do now? Because
it's written here advanced. What does it mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, what do I do then? And she said, well, we obviously cannot put you into the universities that are on your list because the places are already taken.
But then it means that you kind of skip the entire year and you can apply on the next year.
Yeah, and I cannot do that anymore because then it would be the last year and I will need to work on my diploma, you know? So this was literally the only chance for me.
Shit, okay.
And then she said, well, the only option that you have to still be able to experience the exchange semester is if there are any places to other universities left. And so you kind of pick off whatever was left. And obviously I have to say that Finland and Sweden, because they're so up north compared to Italy, Most people don't like going there because they want to experience something different from Moscow.
From snow, cold.
Exactly. Everyone wants Aperol Spritz, and and
course, and
15
pizza
degrees
pasta.
plus in winter.
CC.
Yeah. And she said, in Finland, the university is actually really great. And I said, no, I'm really.
It's like bordering, yeah.
Yeah. And so there was one University of Applied Sciences in Austria.
Aha, that's how it all started.
Which, where a few places were left, and this is basically
Well,
how I
actually
ended
not
up.
so far away from Italy, we also have nice Alps, and
Exactly.
actually Aperol is not worse than there.
Yeah, and I mean, it was not University of Vienna, it was the University of Applied Sciences in Wiener Neustadt, which is just like half an hour away from Vienna.
My office, Eurofox, was next to it.
So it was, on the one hand, it was the greatest disaster of my life at the time, but at the same time, I still had to be grateful that I at least got some place.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, Austrian university, 30 minutes from Vienna, I would say
not bad,
compared to some other.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I just wanted to have international experience, and that's all. And it didn't really matter where exactly. And actually, I did read quite a few stories then from people who were in Vienna University during the exchange semester, and the experience is completely different. It's just mind-blowing, because in Vienna University, just like in most of the universities in Europe, unlike applied sciences, it's just you have the degree and you basically choose your own degree. You build it like a cake.
You don't have a single group you start with and finish.
Yes, exactly.
But you meet in different courses, different people, which makes it difficult also.
There is no dormitory usually, so you have to choose your own place.
As well, yes.
So essentially, you don't get the community experience that you're supposed to have.
Yeah, that's what I also did, because I also, by the way, finished University of Applied Sciences, and it's very different from where we are coming from, because in Europe, normally there is a split. You have university, which means they are more focused on, lectures, academic part of the studies, and also University of Applied Sciences. It's also universities, it's accredited like governmental entities, but their focus is not on the academic achievements, but rather on applicational applied sciences, which does mean that we were cutting the woods or something, that it's
which also exists, and there is nothing wrong about that.
Exactly, but it's more like you don't study in theory, robotics, but you have a lab where you have the latest, or not latest, but one of the examples of, cool 3D printer, robotic hand for gripping and manufacturing, and you kind of try to, for example, program it, or and things like that. So, and that's why it's a difference.
That's why it's called applied sciences.
Applied sciences, exactly, and
that's easier.
That's easier because, at least in my point of view, yes, you from the day one, you meet the team, the group of people with whom you will be studying, like in our cases, but it was not master's degree, right? It was just
it was bachelor's.
There was a bachelor's, For me, it was master's, so 2 years I was studying with cool guys from all over the world.
So it was exchange, but you did all 2 years?
It was not exchange. Exchange I did in Germany. In Austria, I did my master's. It was 2 years program. Exactly. And then we finished with the same group as we started. And exactly. And now actually my very close friends are, as normally, the ones from university times. And I guess the same was for you.
So if we go a little bit back in time before the master, so to finish the story of a great defeat, but a great success at the end. As we said at the last channel, when the one door closes, the other one definitely will open for you. And I think I had the best experience ever, because we became best friends. It has been already more than 10 years since I did my exchange. We organized a 10-year reunion 2 years ago.
Wow.
Some people came. We had a person coming from States with his wife now, who now gave a recently birth actually to the first baby. We had the guy coming from Finland, France, Poland.
Nice.
And we all visited the campus again,
So you meet in the campus?
Yeah, so we met in Vienna. I accidentally a host for most of them somehow, but we are best friends. So
your floor was busy with mattresses, I guess.
Yes. But it's for sure something that exactly what I was looking for, and exactly what Vienna University would not be able to give me.
even though there are a lot of good universities, and we will also do one video about
nothing
them,
wrong about
but it's just different,
Yeah.
It's not better or
Yeah.
worse, it's just different.
Very different. Yes. And so once I had the taste of life in Europe,
Speaking languages, meeting people from all over the world, I know this drug.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's the same even with the short-term immigration. It's the same that you come back home and you are not the person you used to be, and that's it. And so you kind of get unsettled in life, I think, because you are always looking for your next home, and you kind of more open. And I mean, there is always a part of sadness where you have to say goodbye to your previous life, but it no longer suits you. So it's kind of a relief, but very, very sad at the same time, which is, I think, the same experience for everyone who ever moved out of their country. Yeah, so since then, for sure, I knew that I'm not staying in my country. This was just out of the question. So I started looking for opportunities to get my master's degree, and this is how I ended up in Austria.
So, but that's not the end of the story, guys, because then you didn't do your master's in the same university.
No,
you decided to proceed it, but why didn't you stay in University?
That's a very good question. I mean, at the time, my aspiration was to work in sports marketing or hospitality. So I was very much driven by this industry. I had the experience already of working during the Olympic Games, and I just thought that that would be my path in life, that I want to continue. I want to work either in International Olympic Committee or FIFA, or just organize these events from consultant's perspective. So this was the ambition at the time.
I'm laughing inside because I know where she works now, so a little bit in another direction, let's say, but let's not spoil.
Tiny little bit different, yes. And so I was kind of looking for a program that would reflect that aspiration, and this is why I have not chosen the Wiener Notion, because they have a general business program, and in Salzburg, where I then did my master's, they had a program specialized in innovation and tourism. So it was both business and tourism related, which could be now considered even by me as something naive, but I believed in this at the time, and honestly, no regrets. I mean, I love Salzburg with my heart.
Salzburg is like other side of Austria. It's mountain region. I think it's the same country, but feels a little bit different.
It's very
Vienna,
different. Yes, it's very
Vienna
different.
area is quite flat, but in there you feel like Mozart.
It's a very small city. I mean, the area where I used to live in Moscow was bigger than the city of Salzburg itself, which is like around 150,000 people. Even though it's fourth largest city in the country, but still it's only 150,000.
But let's get a credit, it's much bigger than Wiener Neustadt.
Yes, definitely. I think they have like
with all the respect
40k or something.
Exactly.
So it was an upgrade from that perspective.
Yes.
Thank you. Always look for the positive side. And actually, this master program was where I met the professor who was then my also supervisor for the master diploma, who used to teach in Oxford.
So reference to the video
the
where
path,
Masha explained her
the
journey
path
to the Oxford
is now being
the counter started at that time.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he was doing some of the classes for MBA, I think, and also executive MBA.
But he is in Said Business School in Oxford?
Yes.
Or,
Is
it only one business school in Oxford?
From the University of Oxford, yes. I mean, there are plenty other schools as well, but that's the official one from the University of Oxford. So, so he was one of the best professors I've ever had, and I was so happy when he chose me for his as his master student for the supervision of the diploma, and he was very challenging, very demanding, but at the same time also so attentive and just inspiring and supportive. It was a really amazing experience for me, and we became good friends at the time, and we still keep in touch actually. And he was, I think, fast forward to 5-7 years now, he was the first one to hear the question about the Oxford diploma. He was the first one to validate whether I'm just too crazy, or I can somehow do it. So yeah, thanks to him, and he was the one of the two persons who also gave me a recommendation for the diploma, because this is one of the requirements as well.
Exactly. You need two, right?
Yes.
Like in most of the executive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just, and then after the master's degree, I was looking for a job, and as any immigrant going through this process, especially in Austria,
especially with a yet Russian passport,
especially with Russian passport, especially not speaking German fluently, it was very, very complicated, obviously, but we've managed.
But which year you finished? Because then was this collapsing with Corona time? Did you finish
No,
before?
I did. I finished earlier, so I officially finished the study on, I think, in 2018, and then beginning of 2019,
You got the job.
I got the job, and shortly before that, I had my presentation for the diploma, and yeah.
I finished like 1 year later. But so you then, but we were lucky, because the ones after me, because I was 1 year later than you, but the guys from University of Applied Sciences Upper Austria, where I did my master's, they came exactly 2020, because I found the job in 2019. Which also took me quite some time, because you don't have experience. As Masha said, you're not fluent in German, which means 70% of the market opportunities for your career are closed so far, and you have to choose, or you have to be chosen only from the remaining 30.
Yeah, I mean, even with the perfect resume, it just takes time.
Plus, I mean, anyway, you don't have years of experience because you just graduated. Then.
Exactly.
Okay. So, and then basically you moved from Salzburg. You got a job in Vienna.
So I did not manage to find anything in Salzburg, but
even touristic, very interesting.
But I mean, the jobs, there are plenty of jobs, but as we both know, you have to have a certain there are specific criterion for the jobs that are then applicable for you to get a job work visa.
Yes, that's also one of the, let's say, challenges for non-European graduates.
Yeah.
Because you have to find the employer who will not only be satisfied with your CV and skills and potential, but also who will be ready to make some extra efforts and to help you to get the visa.
No, it's not just about the wish, but you have to have a certain salary.
Yes, you have to fit the criteria to be able to get it. Yeah. Plus, company needs to wait you. I mean, if you are European Union person,
you can start tomorrow.
Yes,
exactly.
But here in my companies, both for whom I was applying for a visa when I had visas, they were waiting for me maybe 3 months each. And this is commitment, which also, I mean, of course, for good candidates, companies can wait, but business sometimes cannot wait. With all the respect, even though you are maybe top performer.
And also, it may take more time for the authority to issue the visa, so you are just really in a vulnerable place. Yes. Excuse me. But I mean, actually, this 2019 timeline is actually quite lucky for you and for me as well, because back up until 2018, you could only stay for half a year as a student who finished the master's to search for a job. And actually, in my university, we had 3 deadlines to which you could submit your diploma and then do the presentation and the final exam. And I was aiming for the first deadline to be done with it as fast as possible. But then I realized that I need time. I put too much pressure on myself, so I would rather do the second one. I mean, last one is never a good option. But
I mean, to be honest, here I would challenge you, because at least in my experience with masters, we were all immediately learning from the ones who were 1 year older than us in our masters. They all, like, without European passport, they all said, guys, do it in the last term, because you can do it like in summer. But if you do it a final exam in December, you can get visa. Visa is normally given for 1 year. And if you finish your studies in summer semester, then basically you use the visa from previous year, and then your study visa is expired. And yes, you can extend half a year job search visa, but you cannot leave Austria with job search visa.
Okay.
And we were doing it in the last term, because then we got visa for 1 more year. And even though we graduated, we could leave and look for a job with a still student visa. And plus, as a backup plan, to have this 6 months extra if needed after visa expires. You know what I mean? So
authorities may look at this differently, because in Salzburg and the law actually is quite clear that you get 6 months after your graduation.
It depends maybe on the land, because I was in Upper Austria, it's another Bundesland or federal land region, and there we were getting it for 1 year, and then you prove that you have enough ECTS or credit points or hours that you're studying, and then
no, but we are talking about the time when you submitted everything, you got your diploma.
Yes, and then we still, so for example, I got my diploma, it was January 2019.
Yeah, but that's already 19.
Genau, but my
But
visa was...
exactly what I'm saying is that before 19, it used to be 6 months after your graduation. So once you did your last exam, you will only have 6 months to find a job.
Okay, for us was different, because I could wait. My visa was expiring, I remember it very well, because I was stressed looking for a job in September. So I had time from January to September, plus I found a job luckily in Vienna and also moved to Vienna, but I could prolong it to another half a year after the student visa for the job search. But you had only 6 months for job search.
No, so the story goes that people who submitted to the first deadline, and so that meant that they had the final exam in December, they officially then finished their degree in December, and they only got 6 months for the job search. While I submitted next year in 2019, they changed the law.
Ah, that's what you mean.
And then you would get 1 year for a job search. And basically those people who seemed more ambitious with the first deadline submission, some of them never found a job and had to go back home, you know? So it was actually very interesting that sometimes, you know, pushing it for the first
performance,
yes. I mean, you know, is not the best option.
No, but that's very interesting, because in the end, many students, who graduate in the European Union, they look for a job with a goal to stay, and then so much efforts and to go back.
Third
but
world
very
nationals,
and I think what is important for our audience, guys, whenever you move to Germany, Austria, France, I don't know, Spain, look, because even in small Austria, which is really like just a 9 million population, but we have 9 Bundeslands or federal states, and the rules and the requirements may vary, so whatever we say about what's in Vienna or in Upper Austria or
the rules are the same, they're just imposed differently, because
we
all know
could be
how the bureaucracy works, and
could be, but just check the requirements of your specific region, because it's not only state, but not only governmental, but can be varied.
Yeah, exactly. So I had 1 year, but thankfully I also managed to find it earlier. But the change also meant, if you remember, that it used to be that you had then to work for 12 months in the same company in order to get an upgraded work visa.
For us it's different. Interesting, because for us, I mean, I was working in Vienna, but you also was working.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what used to be.
So
before 2019, you only got 6 months for the job search, but then you only had to work for 1 year in the same company in order to get an upgraded work visa.
Upgraded visa, just for our subscribers, is that basically once you get first visa for work, not study visa, it's another category, but working visa, at the first your employer is written on your card, which means if you change the employer, you have to go through the process again.
And I think you have only 3 months to find another job.
If you lose your current one, which is written. And then what Masha means with upgraded card, it's the same card, but you already not linked, not binned to the
free entry to the job market. Exactly. Yes, for 2 or 3 years afterwards.
And then what you mean is,
and then in 2019, you had the whole year to find the job, but then you had to work for 24 months to get upgraded.
Yes, exactly. That's what
I mean, essentially, it doesn't mean that it has to be the same employer, but then you will just have to reapply for the visa, and then it's obviously a huge headache for everyone. So essentially, it meant that yes, you have to work for 2 years at the company, and then the rest is history.
Exactly.
I mean, luckily, I had quite a few friends from Wiener Neustadt who also moved, obviously, to Vienna, and we remained, in contact. And so when I moved to Vienna, it was not like I was moving to a big city without not knowing anyone, but actually, I ended up living literally like 15 minutes away from my best friends from the time. So it was a great reunion, and thanks to them, I think I managed to to go through this hellish process. I think we could be very frank that, I mean, in any country, it's not specific to Austria, this is the process that everyone has to go through, and there will be humiliation and stress and just complete anxiety.
Ups and downs, I would say.
Yes,
that, yes.
yeah.
I mean, because
it's just the way it is. The system is constructed in such a way, and they definitely don't make your life easier. But now, I mean, being now almost 10 years in Austria, it was all worth it.
Yeah. I mean, from my experience, I mean, I understand that yes, it's challenging, but I would not be maybe so critical because, the system has also some positive aspects. For example, I would never learn German if the system, which basically every time you change the visa after 2 years, then after 3 years, then you get permanent residence permit, then you can apply for citizenship. Every step requires different level of German because it also illustrates your integration into Austrian society. And to be honest, for example, this aspect, I hate it with all my heart, but now I switched this year, I got promoted and I'm working in German full time, which I could not imagine myself and which would never happen if system would not kind of indirectly push me to study to prove first A1, A2 level, then was B1, then for permanent residence permit was B1 and for citizenship was
B2. Yeah.
So
it's still actually not even fluent. Like they don't require fluency.
You don't require
more
true
or less,
fluency, but we were studying. That's important to mention. Purely in English,
in
right?
English,
You also,
yes.
And me too. And all my career I did in English, and I was never thinking that I will ever be able to work in German. But now, almost a year, I'm working actually full time in German, and it's all mainly thank you to the system, because otherwise I would not have motivation, because why would I need it if I can earn, if I can, I had the basic German to survive in the city, but honestly speaking, in Austria and Germany, everyone speaks English. You don't have to.
You're not very much motivated.
You're not. I mean, not that you, but you have a lot of side projects. You have studies. You have your private life, by the way. So I mean, German was not something which I needed badly. But at the end, I'm super grateful that somehow I habe das geschafft.
Jawohl.
Jawohl, genau.
Yeah. So then the work life happened, and since then,
boring life. You said
definitely not boring, but very different, I would say. And so the big step afterwards was that you obviously having been lived, if you lived in Austria for more than 7 years, and especially if you did your masters here, and then you have been working and you have the upgraded visa, so at least let's say 4 or 5 years of experience after your masters, then this makes you eligible for the citizenship. Yeah.
I think I would correct you a little bit. I think now it's 6 years
of experience, or
no,
in general.
So you have.
I mean, it's theoretically it's from 6 years on, but
plus, but it means, I mean, from 6 years you can apply if you prove that you are well integrated, exactly. Which means, as Masha said, your local degree, for example, plus proficiency in German. But then you can have less requirements if you live more than 10 years, I think. Then you don't need that much level of German, and
really?
Yes, after 20 years, you need to really just prove that you was living here, paying taxes and so on. So it depends. But good news. I mean, I think it's just like less than a year, or exactly a year.
Exactly a year, yeah. A year and like 2 weeks.
You see, she's already counting the days. Like, oh my god.
No, I definitely remember the date because it was like 3 days before my birthday. So I have been reborn as an Austrian almost on the same day week, basically.
Yes, wow, cool. Congratulations. I mean, super. So you basically, after leaving, then it's altogether 9 years, or?
Pretty much, yes. So next year will be 10 years.
Oh man. But what is also important to mention, that once you apply for either Staatsbürgerschaft, which is citizenship, or for Daueraufenthaltstitel, which is in Austria and Germany is permanent residence permit, your study time normally counts as a half time.
Yes.
Yeah. So which means, that's why maybe Masha mentioned now 9 years, because
I said 6 years, around 5-6 years of experience.
But at the end, 9 together, if you moved with a study purpose,
exactly.
Study time,
which was for me 4 years, but it counts only as a 2.
Zwei. Yes, 2. Genau. Yes, so what else? Yes, so congratulations. I mean, it's a big step, you know, especially taking into account all the madness of the politics in the past
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge achievement, and I know what is behind it. So
Yeah.
you're
And
really
I think
dedicated.
the Austrian citizenship is one of the toughest citizenships
get.
in the world to get. So it is an honor. That's
It
for
is an
sure.
honor, yes. It's not a gift, I would say, it's an honor.
Yeah, and it
And-
definitely opens the world. So yeah, I was not expecting what kind of impact this event in my life would have. I mean, obviously, when I was moving to Austria, I kind of expected, you know, that if I push long enough, if I work hard enough, then this will
This
eventually
moment will
happen. But when it actually happened, it was an unbelievable experience. You know, I'm really hoping that for you it would also be a mind-blowing
I'm in the process, so fingers
experience.
crossed.
Yes,
But
yes.
should be
It's very
soon.
tough, but it's very rewarding. Obviously, once you finally achieve this.
I mean, yeah, it's not that, you know, we are like, you know, it's just, I think Austrian passport is number 3 in the world in terms of visa for other countries. I think only Italy and Germany, I think, are higher.
Germany for sure,
But it's
Italy,
about
not so sure.
2 or 3 countries
Yeah.
different. So like, it's anyway has a, and you
But
have
I mean,
an
we're
access.
talking about Russia versus Europe.
Yes,
you
but
know,
I mean,
so-
yes, yes.
I'm
but-
okay with number 10 as long as it gets me everywhere.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. But yes, especially nowadays, it's a little bit of yeah.
Yeah, so it has been tough, obviously,
has
but
been.
we are not gonna go into the political discussions.
No, my
and
mom will
everything.
kill me. Mom,
Yeah.
no worries. I don't even open
We
my
love
mouth
our
in this regard.
motherland.
Russia.
Yes, and so basically, yeah. So one of the definitely most unexpected things that led me to the 1 year forward, fast forward, yeah, it was obviously the mobility and the freedom, but then it ended up with me considering getting
Oxford.
education and also considering schools that are abroad.
Outside of
Now
European
abroad
Union.
for us is outside of Austria.
Rocket abroad.
Yes.
Yes, actually true.
So now then, after 9 years of living here and being a completely different person, and actually a little bit of a sneak peek why we said that I'm a little bit far away from tourism. I'm now working in the pharmaceutical industry. So yeah, quite far
A little
away.
bit far
so
away.
now I can definitely say that I'm a very different person, and I thought to myself, why not dream much bigger than what that little girl
All
Masha
limitations are
was
in our
dreaming when
hands.
she was considering Austrian university. So
Yes, I mean, that's true. I mean, I can also sign up for these words because, yeah, all limitations, guys, are in our head. And if you leave this and, you know, think out of box, then you end up doing executive
honestly,
diploma in Oxford.
And like if you aim for the stars, you have better chances to, even if it's not the star that you were aiming for, you will be at least somewhere in the
level.
space.
Exactly.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
so you feel like in space now.
Yeah, very far away. For sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, but so exciting, you know, it's like the life of one real person with a real experience, you know, open heart.
Been there, done that. We
Yes.
can both say, actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks, but it's not about me today, but about you, Masha, and I'm really very proud to have you as a friend, coincidentally
Same.
meeting in
Yeah.
top executive MBA's event in Vienna, and now actually sharing the, you know, ups and downs in terms of MBA study, citizenship, culture, Austrian culture, and some other stuff. So, but you know, then more than better. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff ahead, and I'm looking forward to hear also from you. How was it for you to be to have a diploma from Oxford University? And thanks for sharing so openly all your path from, you know, little girl in Moscow, in a very regular city, in a very regular family, you know, really skyrocketing, and you're really one of the examples when I can say that you rocket abroad.
Yes, we both do.
Well, it's again not about me.
Who is the creator of this channel?
So it's all also with the help of my friends and my family. So that's why I'm very much grateful for everyone. And please, guys, likes, comments, subscribes, because we can proceed with these videos only if we can have like response that we see that okay, it's interesting for you, because for us it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we have tons of material to share.
Yes.
Honestly, you just be our guides and we will deliver.
we will deliver.
Yeah.
Yes. All the best. We see each other in the next video, and let's just rock it abroad.
Let's rock it together.
Rock it abroad together. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Hey, are you ready to rock it abroad, Jumbo?